All right, so now that we just had some practice and experience learning more about this, you may be asking yourself, well, why? Why are we doing all of this progress monitoring? So now that we know the criteria for selecting a tool, let's take a look at what we get from the data. So we're doing this to see early in the process, as quickly as 4 weeks, if a student is responding to the if a student is responding to the instruction laid out in their IEP. The design and delivery of SDI for a student in special education now requires the use of independent progress monitoring to continually measure student growth toward their IEP goal. If progress monitoring data is not showing growth, the team is expected to make adjustments to the student's IEP. NCII recommends changing the instructional delivery, the content, or the methodology in an IEP when the progress monitoring data does not show growth. So again, most importantly, this data gives us the opportunity to make timely changes to the instruction if the student is not growing. So this marriage between SDI and progress monitoring is known as data-based individualization, the DBI model. The Progress Center put on a great webinar on April 27th if you'd like to learn more.
Yep, and for those of you newer to special education, I think Dr. Bright said there are a lot of new directors out there. The Progress Center has wonderful resources. Their mission is to help districts meet the new requirements of FAPE since Andrew specifically. They are funded by the US DOE's Office of Special Education Programs and are somehow part of the American Institutes for Research as well. Anyway, let's take a look at two student progress monitoring examples. In the first example, we can see, yes, here Ruby is responding to her instruction and she's on track. So this one is easy. We have confidence the SDI is working and Ruby will indeed meet her annual measurable goal. Now let's look at Braylon Burton, a student who is not showing growth. It looks like prior to Braylon's 2-week absence, he was probably on track. Now he's struggling to pay attention and stay engaged. The team is going to meet to review changes we can make to his evidence-based instruction. Again, the recommendation is to consider modifying instructional delivery, content, and/or methodology. So in Classworks, we might take a few paths. We may decide to have him work directly with a teacher and print out some of his lessons to help Braylon build up his capacity and stamina before he returns to the computer. Or if the computer is absolutely Braylon's favorite, we may create mini assignments for him to work on, one skill at a time, and have conversations with him after each skill is completed, instead of working in his integrated learning progression. But regardless of the changes that we choose to make to Braylon's instruction, we continue to progress monitor him using the independent progress monitoring tool built into the platform. This way, we see immediately the overall impact that changes are having on his growth. It is important to remember that if we do not look at progress monitoring data and make adjustments in a timely manner, we do put ourselves at risk of not providing the student with their free appropriate public education. That's why weekly probes are such an important part of this process.